This? Yeah.
Got it, bro.
It's a theme song. Yeah. You live?
Yep, we're live.
Sweet, let's let some folks get on here a little bit. Let's let some folks to get on here. So I kind of have the, Rich?
Yeah.
Kind of have the okay to, and there's no point now. It's out, you know? So, I don't know how many people are on there, but let's just, let's go start. They can start the video back over. Guys, hey, welcome to Shark Frenzy, episode 19. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Francis Judd. We got my faithful compadre over here, Rich Levac.
Yo, what's up?
Working the camera, my teammate, my buddy, my homie. And we just wanted to kind of do a little rap session tonight and a couple little, you know, showing some new stuff and stuff like that. So I want to give a shout out to my sponsors as always. Paul Peterson, Shark RC Bodies. Shark RC Bodies.
Those are some nice looking shirts right there.
Yeah, that's a good looking shirt. Yeah, they're pretty badass. So, Paul's working on some more stuff, and this is one of the things that he just brought out. We'll get into that in a minute. I want to give a huge shout out to Steve Villanueva of R1. Big, huge shout out to Steve. Steve's just a guy that's always innovating, and that's what I love about him. Paul does too. Paul's an innovator, whether that's a side that I see and other people don't get to see that. It's actually pretty awesome. I want to give a huge shout out to Dave Enstrom at DE Racing Tires. DE Racing Tires, we're good. I love them. Run them all my rear motor stuff. There's a great tire. They have a great rollout in the chassis, and I can gear a little bit higher, and I really like them. So, DE obviously having all kinds of different tires, and they're obviously from a dirt oval side of things, and transferred over into drag a while back. Just like Shark did. Shark was a dirt oval guy. He still is. He's still got a huge dirt oval following, and he does that too. So he does the drag stuff and the dirt oval. So when people deal with Paul, remember that, you know, you're not just dealing with a guy that makes a couple drag bodies, a couple sick ass drag bodies, I might say. You're also, because that's just one business. Then he's got the other business, which is the dirt oval stuff. And it consumes his property and his time, and it's just a lot of work. So I want to give a huge shout out to Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies, 707-586-3375. He's right here. You can catch him Tuesday through Saturday. They ship to the local 48. They got all your drag race needs. He will usually be cheaper than a main. He will always have the stuff in stock. Fastest as anybody else. I think I was one of the first people in Northern California to get the losi 22 when it came out. He actually called me personally. It was really nice. Jake said, hey, you want the first 22 in Northern California for your show? I said, yep. So thank you, Jake. Love you, Jake. Known Jake for over 30 years. He's just an absolutely just a kind-hearted, sweet guy that bends over backward to get you whatever you need. Jake's is also your premier source for airplanes, boats. They have the simulators. They have builder stuff, so brass and copper and stainless and stuff like that. You can get just about anything at Jake's. Whether you're into an old vintage Tamiya, let's see that right there, the frog. So if you're into something old like this, that's a Riri. This is a Riri. You know, just to reminisce on your first buggy that you had when you were a kid, or he can get the Riri kit. So he's got Tamiya stuff in there. I mean, he can get if there's a market for it and somebody's producing it, Jake can get it. So And not only that, you're supporting a local shop. So if you have a local shop, remember, always support your local shop. But if you don't, there are some guys that I know that are in areas that the closest hobby shop's 4 hours away. So they have listened to my heat and done some ordering from Jake's, and they've always been very pleased. I've never, ever in 34 years ever heard somebody say, you know what, dude, I had a terrible experience at Jake's. Never, dude. People, if anything, always come out going, dude, I spent way too much money in there.
That's the only horrible experience is your pocketbook.
Yeah, so if you wanted to pay, $200 and get you a ready to run, Tamiya, these things are actually badass. Me and Rich are actually gonna make a little off-road track. I got 2 of them. I got the pink one there too. I got the pink one. And the reason behind these cars are just like the same reason as some of my vintage RC10s. And then grab me the RC10. Is this is great fun, cheap fun for you and a buddy to go do. So if there's a buddy that you run, RC locally with, you can go call Jake's or your local hobby shop and get 2 of these put together, or each of you can. And these cars are built to run equally. This is a vintage car. You can't buy this anymore. Associated did a remodel of it. This is actually kind of an almost unicorn, and the reason is back in early 80s when Associated first started, before they moved to Cadillac, they were at their Ediger plant, and before you had an A stamp, there was an Ediger or a Cadillac. A Cadillac means that it came from, it was an RC10 that was bought from Associated and sold in an era that was at their second location. Well, the RC10 in 84 got so big so quick, they're like, dude, we need a bigger plant. So they moved it over to Cadillac down in LA, and that would have been, the first gen A stamp Cadillacs. Well, the A stamp, meaning the A that's in the back of the chassis here, under the motor on the inside, would have been the first generation of RC10, and the only thing older than that was right before they started doing A stamps was the no stamp Edinger. So this is from the first plant with no stamp. It has some parts on it that any collector will look at it and go, you know what, dude? That's a freaking Edinger. So this was an Edinger. Unfortunately, when I got it, somebody had ran it already. So the chassis scratched. So I put a couple aluminum parts in it and some CV joints and a brushless hobby wing system. And I have, what was it that fell off? I have 2 of these cars it's buggy. It's way, I see it's way down there. Again, just like the Frogs, they're built to run equally. So me and Rich can go back and jam these, and when these die while they're charging, we can grab the RC10s and we can have a modified battle, because these cars are much more better handling and stuff. But it's just really fun. The funnest thing in RC I've ever done is race spec classes and on-road and oval, where the cars are built to run so equal that it's truly a driver's game. And that's just a really, really fun thing to do at RC. I personally get that outlet through Jake's Performance Hobbies when I get some of this stuff. Or if I get stuff, it's a bargain and it's used off the line, then I can, get whatever I need from Jake to get them going or keep them maintained. But yeah, just one of the million of reasons to support your local hobby shop. So, if you want to throw some buggies somewhere, yeah, I was thinking about selling because they've been sitting, and then I started looking at my backyard my new house that I just got. I'm like, what I mean,
just about big enough.
We're gonna go break those in the backyard. Can't get rid of those. So, and I love this buggy. It runs off a Trinity Shorty pack. It's got a brushless 13.5 system in it from Hobby Wing. I think a Blinky system, yeah. And it's just a bad little biscuit. So, I want to address the elephant in the room and say that I hope you've had a patriotic 9/11. I don't know, for a lot of people in this sport that are younger, if it's as emotionally traumatic for them as it was for someone like me. 20 years ago today, about this time right here, I was gung-ho and I was ready to join the Marine Corps. And unfortunately for me, I wanted to go fight for my country, and I had just had a baby. She was about, it was my first daughter, who's 20 now. She's 20, yeah. She was about a month and a half old. And I came home and I started talking to my wife about it, and she's like, look, she laid it out. She's like, look, I know you want to go fight for your country, but if you go to the Marine Corps, we won't be here when you get back. I can't do that to myself. I know what happened. You know, it's hard. And so I ended up not joining because I just had started a family. And now that I'm 43 in life, I feel like that I always got robbed of that, you know? If there's people out there that wonder what is it that makes people want to go do that kind of thing and enlist in the military, well, then you might not be that kind of person. So, I was really, really, really upset 20 years ago after 9/11. I have my own beliefs about some parts of it. But, you know, hindsight being 2020, it's a pretty emotional day for me every year. We lost 300 and something police officers and, 600 and something firefighters and a bunch of children in a daycare. And it was just a horrible day for America. And given our crappy situation and things that are going on right now, with our failed leadership, it's really, really hard to have what has happened in the last couple weeks in this country, happen with the failed leadership that we have right now. That's just, I won't get into that because this show isn't about politics, but it's a very emotional day for me, and I hope that you guys have at least out there in Facebook world at least thought about it one day or at some point today, and just kind of remember that it was 9/11. So, because we remember, dude. My parents are both law enforcement, and I work in law enforcement now, man. And it's an emotional day. So,
we got some shout outs, people on the group. You want to say what's up and how you doing?
Yeah.
Will Shepherd, I know, is on there.
You know what?
That Will.
Hey.
I think Nebraska's in the house. What?
I need your glasses.
Oh.
I can't read that.
That's funny.
Do you know how hard that is to read? Let me read these really quick, and then I got a little. We got Will Shepherd chimed in.
Wade's in here. What's up, Wade?
John Mendez Jr., what's up? Nicholas Steffi, Scott Eckhart, Aaron Harmon, Wade, what's up, Wade? Wade's Madfish Designs. He's working on some cool new products. Watch out for these guys. These guys are, you'll see a bunch of guys get in and make something small that's a niche part of the market, and they'll get all hot and heavy, and it'll easily really be good, and then they won't want to progress and make more products, and it just kind of tapers off for them. But the guys that, have a good product, and they come into it, and then it starts to and then they come out with something else, and it starts to and then, and that's how you progressively make yourself into a business. So, and this guy, I like him because he seems to be really wanting to do that. He's very hungry to do that. Ricky Juggin Reed, what's up, buddy? So yeah, let's get into some things. First of all, I know that as some of my normal followers and watchers have reached out to me and asked me, we have taken probably a good month off of the shows. I just needed some time to reflect. I've been doing this for over 4 years. I've been into RC for over 30, for those of you who are new to the show. And I've been doing the drag stuff for about 4 years, a little over 4 years, some change. I've seen the sport go from nobody knows anything and stepping in with what I tried to give the community. And I think that without tooting any of my own horns, implying that I have more than one horn. Okay, that doesn't sound good. That the show that I created almost 2 years ago was something that really just took a lot of people that were going, hey man, this is really cool. How do we do it? You know what I'm saying? And there's just tens of thousands of people that we helped get in. Unfortunately, there's a little part of me that feels that there is a little part of me that is in a way, I don't want to say not needed anymore, but
what's the word you used the other day? You used irrelevant.
Yeah, there's a small little part of me that feels irrelevant. Because when I got into it, I knew everything. I put the work into it. I was the fastest guy in the country. I helped all, just boom, my info and my show spread like wildfire. And here we are 2 years later, and everybody knows something. There's so many fast guys. It's like, who knows at this point, companies have jumped all over like 1,000 monkeys, like in Wizard of Oz, and just rip the scarecrow hair out of this this industry. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day, and that combined with, like I said, I've been into RC racing. I don't mean just playing around with my RC car out front. I did RC, 15 years ago, and I got back into it my whole life almost. I've been into heavy hitting racing of some sort, whether it be on road or it be oval, or whatever it was. And I think one of the things, especially without a father when I was younger, that drew me to the sport was the fact that everybody was so nice. It was always niceness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then this drag racing thing started. And there are, and I'm a guy, I'm a dude. I've been building race cars, I've been around it and all this. I get the testosterone and this and that. I like that stuff. I like the playful banter and stuff like that. But there are, without pointing any names, and I haven't personally witnessed anything myself. I haven't had anything happen to me, but I'm just the guy. I'm the godfather in the shadow that's just kind of watching what's going on in the restaurant. And there's just some people out there in this sport that are just full of piss and venom, and it's bad for the sport. And I'm seeing arguing, and I'm seeing name calling, and that with that with the fact that little piece of irrelevant feeling, I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a real muscle car, and I'm going to go kind of do me for a couple weeks and just kind of take a breather. And I've done that, and I'm back now. I want to get going on the shows again, but we're going to have to really... There are still a wave of people coming into the sport, but the wave is not a 10-foot swell anymore. It's really not. If anything, you have 4-foot swells coming in, and you have 3 or 4 foot swells going out too. I'm seeing a lot of cars get sold, and I think that there's probably, if I had, to bet the deed to the farm, that a good percentage of the people that are the waves going out and selling off their stuff are probably some of the guys that have gotten detoured at some of the negativity in the sport, because there's some negativity, and I know a lot of heavy hitters see it. I know a lot of heavy hitters probably don't like it, and I just want to be one of the old school OG, triple OG heavy hitters that address the elephant in the room, because that's who I am. I'm the elephant addressing mofo in any crowd. So I have no shame in my game. I love talking. I can say, excuse me, I don't think that's right. You just cut in line. I have no problem. I'm that guy. So I just kind of want to say it, be kind. I get that sometimes there might be posts that you don't like, or somebody selling something they think is worth more. Just keep scrolling, man. Don't even stop off at that bus stop and throw books at them, because it's bad. My mom always taught me one thing. She said, look, being right is good and intelligence is good, but if you ever have a chance in life to either be right or be kind, choose being kind. And I see a lot of people in this sport forgetting that. So all I want to say before we get on to this is just to say, hey man, love thy RC neighbor. If somebody is wrong, explain to them, go into depth, say, look, I think that I've actually had opposite, experiences with what you're talking about, and here's what I came up with, and explain yourself. Don't just chime in and say, you know what, you're wrong, asshole.
Every situation is different. I mean,
I could go through it 100 times. I just want to say, be nice to each other. You guys remember, for guys like me, there's a lot of guys in the sport all over the world, not just the country, that are into it just like I am with my 8-year-old daughter. And she hasn't seen too much of this, because I keep her off. She's not on Facebook and stuff like that. But eventually she's going to be old enough to where if this stuff doesn't get stomped in the ass and turn into more of a friendly thing like the rest of the RC world, then eventually the kids aren't going to want to be into it. You think, the kids want to sit there and watch two grown men argue over whose spoiler's legal? I mean, it just, let it go, man. It's a toy. It's a toy, dude. Yeah. So love thy RC neighbor. That's all I want to say about that. I'm going to keep your glass. Hey, Emma.
Yeah.
Is that the static on the TV? Oh, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you find some of Daddy's reading glasses and bring that to me, baby?
You had them stashed everywhere. Now they're in one spot. Where are they? You told us last time.
Yeah, you know, and then they all kind of clump together in certain areas. You are awesome. Wait, give me some skin. There you go.
No, I can read again.
So, and you know what? One last thing is when those kids do get old enough to get into this and be deterred from that, their parents are going to want to too.
Oh,
because
good.
My daughter means more to me than anything in the world, more than some toy freaking cars made of carbon fiber. And if I see something that my daughter doesn't like, and she tells me, Daddy, I don't want to be here, guess what? I'm not going to be there. Now you lost her as a racer and me as a racer. You know?
Well, Daryl chimed in, and he says he tries to be good and speak to everybody. Daryl Perkins. Man,
yeah, Daryl.
that
I want to
guy-
give him a huge shout out. Daryl Perkins has just got a huge freaking heart, and he's always buying car kits and giving them to young kids that probably don't look like they could afford to be racing, but are sitting there with their jaws open watching these cars go down the track. Really cool guy. He's helped Rich. I've seen him help several other people. Huge guy. If you're ever at a race and you hear the name Daryl Perkins and you hear some, an older gentleman's voice start talking, go over and say hi to him, introduce yourself. I guarantee you he'll blow your socks off. Guy's great. I love him to death.
I agree.
So,
I approve that message.
trademark, copyright, not to be used, confused, ring, Bobby Inc. So first of all, available on the Shark website is all the new Shark apparel. So you have the GTO there, which is a car we make, but this is still a picture of a real car. And then we needed something to fill in the back, so we just kind of picked a picture off the internet. And but yeah, it's a great shirt. This is a purple small. I believe they come in white, black, purple, and fluorescent yellow. And the fluorescent, if you come from like done a little dirt oval racing, that's really popular with the dirt oval guys. Whoever's got the brightest shirt in the pit wins. You know? So here's what it looks like in black. This is obviously one of my shirts that looks like a parachute.
Yeah, I had to back up to get that one.
And then also, right there. Yep, watch out the soda. This is also very similar. No, you show them. So show them the front first. Show them the front. And the reason why is because the front is what the old Shark hoodies used to look like. Okay? So if you ever bought a hoodie from Shark, this is what they look like. Well, now you get this. With that on the back. So these are all available. I'm going to try and push Paul to do some hats. I think some Shark hats are well overdue. I'd really like to see my teammates. I also want to give a huge shout out, as I mentioned that, to my teammates. All my Shark guys made me so proud of guys and gals. Cody Offenbacher and Roy are killing it constantly.
Did you watch any of the Kansas races?
Jordan Yancey's out there freaking nailing it. We've got, you know what? I think I have some of the fastest people in the country on my goddamn team. And I say that because I have a lot of pride. It's packed with a lot of pride. I hand-picked and hand-selected these racers to come aboard the Shark team because they saw the vision and they loved the designs and stuff, and they saw what I saw through their eyes. And that's why these people were picked. It wasn't because Jordan Yancey was running 80 miles an hour, because that motherfucker nobody was running 80 miles an hour back then. You know what I'm saying? But it was his mouth. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It was his heart. It was Jordan Yancey's. He liked the bodies. He he liked the Shark bodies ever since I unveiled the first Shark drag bodies almost 2 years ago. Yeah. These are people that really believed in it, and I think that it's really awesome, and it is overdue. These have actually been done for a while. There was just some other stuff we were dealing with the Trans Slam and stuff, and he was just waiting for the right time. But these are all available now, and I want to, officially get that out there with the show and let people know that these are available. These are awesome. I have, I bought a black and 2 purples for me, and a purple for Emma, and a sweatshirt for me. I liked them so much. I was like, you know what, Paul? Just take my money. And yes, team manager, full sponsor, factory driver from Shark, I pay for my apparel. So, just like all the other Shark drivers and Shark lovers, and these are just killer shirts, dude. These are great. His shirt guy just knocked these out of the park. So I'm really happy that we were able to get this kind of stuff done finally. Emma's. And the purple's awesome. I gotta tell you, the purple's a little bit cooler going down the road to Mopar. It just is. I don't know why.
I don't know. Riklowski wrote in here, you have a different glow in your eyes. Looks like General Motor. Well, it's not General Motor.
No,
it actually went
yeah.
went Chrysler.
I'd be over here going, I think I have. I've been diagnosed with AIDS. Not a GM guy. And he is a GM guy.
I am, but he's not.
No,
he's a Ford guy, but he just went and bought a Dodge.
I'm Ford. So. I was looking at Mustangs, and I had a 2013 GT500 Super. No, it wasn't a GT5. It was a GT. And it had the original motor with 10,000 miles on it, and then somebody came in and put the heads and the valve covers and the intake and the throttle body and all the top end and fuel system was all Cobra Jet. It was off the big, factory, drag car. And I sold it because in 6 months owning it that I had it, we put 41 miles on it. I was afraid a pigeon was going to shit on it. You know what I'm saying? And that was probably Mustang 13. I'm usually known in my area for Fox bodies. Big time Fox bodies, $100,000 race car builds that are just like, oh my God, I've never seen a Fox body like that before. And I am a Ford guy at heart. I want a true blue Henry. I don't want no GM copycat stuff in my, I would never do that. But Dodge has kind of always done their own thing, and I've always kind of liked Dodge stuff. And this time around, I was looking at the Mustangs, and the year that the Dodge is, and around the same miles, I wanted super low miles. Was almost $10,000 more, and I was like, well, I can either own this car, and I liked them. I've always liked the Challengers. They're great looking cars. Yeah. And I walked by this one, and I was just like, dude, that color.
The color alone is what does
the
it. The
color and the wheels, the graphite.
We're gonna have to split up this and walk out there.
Yeah, we can do it right now. Let's walk out there right now.
Fine. Here we go.
Yeah, so I got this and I'm really happy with it. I love driving it.
Beautiful color on here though. You should see it in the sunlight.
In the sunlight, in person, it's totally different. In pictures and stuff, it just looks blue. Yeah, I love it. I'll admit, as a Ford guy, I love the Dodge. It's a nice car, So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think I'll keep it for a little while. I'm also known for that too. Dumping a bunch of money in a car and then turning around and selling it to try and make a profit to get into another car. Yeah, I'm not going to start that. I'm at a point where I just want a gentleman's hot rod to drive around with my daughter. She loves it. Emma loves it. So, and I just found. Emma, are you using my work phone? Can you bring my work phone here real quick? So.
Yeah, my drag body's about the same color as that body.
It's like 21%.
So hold on a sec. I was on the internet at work on Friday on my lunch break, and I found this. Right here. And I was like, get out of Dodge. Wait a minute. Okay, so I found this and I'm like, okay, I'll order one. It's the same exact color blue as my car, Dodge Challenger. Cheapy, ready to run Kyosho kit. But I was like, you know what? It'll be awesome for my kid to destroy that thing in the yard. Anyway. So, yes, I do not own a Mustang. I own several other Fords, but not a Mustang. The shitty thing is, bad thing is, I'm trying not to, okay? I've been used to not being in front of camera so long. So anyway, is I miss my truck. My 2019 Super Crew 4-wheel drive Coyote with a 10-speed truck, that thing was bad to the bone. Don't pull up in a 17, 18, 19, 20 Silverado with a 6-liter LS against a Coyote with a 10-speed behind it and think that you're going to do anything other than see his taillights. That truck really got it. It was just under 500 horse. And it was, the only thing that would have made it better would be to re-gear it. Because I basically took, you know, the stock truck tires off and put 35s right on it, you know. Yeah. But anyway, that's the crappy thing, is not having a truck anymore. And I think that if I look for, I got to commute to work. So I've been thinking, you know, me and Rich usually would take the truck, and I mean, even to Sacramento and back to Roaring Park, we used $140 to fill the tank and have gas to get back, and it was expensive. So I'm looking around for a hybrid SUV right now. We'll be able to cram all our stuff in and get to Las Vegas for $40, you know? So, okay, so aside from the shirts, here you go, Rich. Sorry, just put on a seat or whatever. We have some new products. They're actually not too new. They've been out for several weeks. I haven't been on the internet. I had two of them in here. I must have used one on something. So this is, I believe this is an R1. R1 makes great rotors, dude. I don't know who he's got making the rotors for me. Okay, so this is a 14 millimeter rotor. And compared to a 12, 12 and a half, 13, 13 and a half, it's not going to rev as fast, but it's going to have buttloads of torque. And that's why we like the 14 millimeter rotors. But we've also been playing with, okay, well, the happy medium between a 14 and, say, a 12.5. Well, why a 12.5 if this one's got more torque? Well, because it's all about finding the happy medium between torque and RPM. You got a big rotor, it's got a lot of torque, doesn't rev out very fast or very high. You got a small rotor, it'll rev to the moon, but it's got no magnetism. It doesn't have a lot of torque. It's missing a lot of the torque. So the problem with finding that and building your own motors like I do is the increments between rotors, 14, 13.5, 13, 12.5, 12. So you're 5 millimeters in between increments. And I think that Steve Villanueva of R1 kind of wanted, you know, he saw another need and he filled it. So the way he filled it, I think I only have 2 out of 3 here. These are really, really.
Don't do that.
These are really, really.
Don't do that.
They're padded and they ain't gonna hurt them. So, let's see. This is okay. So he makes a 13. This is a 13.5. So this is a 5 millimeters down from this. Then he makes a 13.7, and then he makes a 13.9. So instead of going in increments, trying to find that happy medium in increments of 5 and just having to round it off, you're actually being able to get finer increments of millimeter size so that you can really, really, really fine dial in what the perfect rotor is for your application. So these are available on R1 sites. I had a bunch of people just like, I don't know, just completely screw the pooch and like see a big pile of R1 brand new fan covers, and just, oh my god, they have a new ESC coming out. Is it on pre-order? I'm like, dude, those are fan covers, dude. Calm down, okay? I don't see that not happening from Steve in the future sometime. I know that Steve's always innovating, and we're going to keep pushing the, you know, for the guys that are running R1s, there's guys running 80 miles an hour now that are running just the stock digital 3s. They're not even rewiring them. And they're amazing speed controls, but eventually, just like everything else, we're going to push it and push it and push it and push it until we can't push it no more, and we're going to need to progress. And that is why I love Steve, because I know Steve's always going to be on the forefront of that ship. So, but right now, you know, 80 miles an hour. Jesus Christ! This is how strong they are. Oh,
it's moving.
No, I usually can stick 2 of them together. Oh, that's kind of, you know, my hands are in there. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that on my hand, dude. Did you see it? That is freaking amazing. Look at that. So, yeah, if you're into building your own motor and trying to find something that's a little bit outside the box, head on over to R1 for all your R1 motor stuff. And I'm talking everything. He's got the best ceramic bearings that for a motor that money can buy. The sensor boards are I have extra sensor boards in case I lose one in a race, and I've never had to put one in. The stators, I mean everything, right even to the horseshoe clasp for the end belt on the motor. He's got titanium ones of those rather than having to just use your aluminum one. So go over to R1 site and check this stuff out. I kind of want to just give you an overview of kind of what's going on and what's available on R1 site right now. This is a car that I have not showed anybody other than one guy that saw it, and that was a huge mistake. So the only other person in the whole world that has seen it is the creator and Rich, because I can't hide it from Rich. He's my teammate and he helps me do everything. So this is the prototype car. Now, first of all, I want to say, you don't want this car. This car is a one-off prototype by R1 that very many parts of it are amazing, and the car like it sits works great. It's potentially an 80-mile-an-hour car all day long. However, we have, and I will be soon, going towards Associated. The new R1 car that is being released, the chassis kit and stuff, that stuff is all based off of Associated. That's where Steve and the rest of the team felt we had to be. And I was on the losi side of things, so it pretty much makes this car obsolete for me being able to tune with my team. It was also very hard to ever... It was hard to... I couldn't show it, so I couldn't really bring it to a race, and when I was going to a race, it was hard to put a lot of practicing into it because I didn't have any support. It was the only one like it. So this is the R1 Magic Machine, topped with your Shark Trans Slam, and I'm not trying to show the car. I'm just kind of trying to show the electronics off and some of the innovation that's going behind this stuff. I know that Steve is in Topeka this weekend. I believe it's Topeka, Kansas, at that race, and then I will be ordering my stuff as soon as he gets back. I'm really interested into, because I've already had guys. It's almost like when we drew this car up on a board when they did. They kind of they got to a certain point and they had two drawings, one of a losi, one of Associated. At some point, they took the eraser and just kind of went, we're going to get back to this, but right now we're going to home in on this one. And unfortunately, I was on the wrong side of the fence with that. This is based off of a losi stand-up buggy, and it has some stuff flip-flopped that you wouldn't normally see. And kind of what we were thinking here is that, as well as the laydown cars work, this car works a little bit better to get some of you want the benefits of the mid-motor car and the chassis, but rear motor cars have benefits too. Like you can always launch them harder and stuff. So the reason why I could never launch the cars hard enough is because with the laydown tranny, my motor was clear up here, okay? And I believe that was too far forward. And obviously, once you get to a certain speed, the rear motor car obviously is way too far back. So by going mid-motor, we got the benefits of the mid-motor, but then with using the stand-up tranny, moving the motor into this location, it was just better for bite and stuff like that. So, like I said, don't pay attention to the car. I don't really have to hide it anymore because we already have a car that's been released. I haven't got the official word to show this off, but I kind of made my own choice as to, well, he's not really going to care. We're not making this car. So this is just... so why don't you come in here real quick? So what I wanted to show you was how nice and the reason why Steve is making the electronics the way he is. So this 60-gram cap pack is exact same weight of the ESC without the fan, okay? So by putting them here, we are getting the weight, again, back towards the center of the axle for traction, but then they're on either side of the chassis for weight distribution, which works amazing on scales, okay? But wait, there's more. So the reason why the ESC is over here and the cat pack is over here is because I do have a fan, which is another 18 grams or 20 grams heavier, makes the ESC 20 grams heavier than the cat pack. Well, if you look down the center line of this car, the motor is slightly offset to the left side of the car, which means that I can offset some of the weight of the fan by just running the fan and ESC over here and the cat pack over here, because there's with these two components out of the car and just the motor in it, there's a little bit more weight on this side. So what I'm trying to do is give optimal weight, and that's the kind of stuff that he's thinking of. For the new guys, had a lot of guys reach out to me. Well, what cat pack should I get? This is the 60. Get the big guy. This thing works freaking awesome. I can unplug my battery, turn my car on, and the ESC it comes back on. I mean, it eventually goes dead and dissipates what's in it, but for the most part, it's a really awesome cat pack. We got the full blown 3.5 in here, tweaked and dynoed by me, put together with some stuff inside. And this is just basically a stock R1 digital. I haven't even replaced the wires. Like, see that one up there? That one's got all the big 10 gauge wires and stuff for not only, and I have that question too about why do you put the big wires on the ESC? Well, we do that for a couple of reasons. Not only is it less resistance for more electricity to go through, but these things get hot quick when you got them dialed in right. So it also acts as a heat sink. Some of that bigger braid will actually absorb some of the heat from running the car. Not saying you should get your car hot. If your car's getting over, up to 110, 120, let it sit and cool, this also runs the white boxes. Just one of them. Any of them. Yeah, they're all the same. This runs an R1 battery. Now the cool thing about the chassis that's out now is it incorporates some of this technology in that I can take this battery box and I can turn it sideways like this. I can mount it like this. I can put it here, here, here. I can put it here, 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 because there's so many holes and adjustments. And other than that, it's pretty much a stock chassis. I mean, it's a really, really thick, beautiful carbon chassis. But like I said, there was only one or two of these made because it was just a prototype car, and it's kind of it's obsolete now. And I never really did perfect the car. I'll admit it. I never did. It's got a lot of potential and it's got a lot of power. But I was always. It was hard with nobody else to chat with to perfect the car and continue to tune on it without, and then also having to get the cars I was going to go run at a race ready to. It was too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had my car, my backup car, Emma's car. Me and Rich help each other, and then I was trying to get this car. This car is very close, and this car I will continue to race. This car is very, very fast. So. I just kind of wanted to show some of the R1 stuff. These are the 8,000 packs. If you guys are looking for a pack, I get it. The max amp packs are more expensive. Max amp packs are really, really good. That's the other top. I believe at the two top, I'm a firm believer, and you can't change my mind, that the two top contenders are on R1 batteries and max amp batteries. It's the best money can buy. And I personally, I like these. I can get a little bit lower IR on them most times. I think that they're more powerful and more lightweight. And I really like this. I had a couple max amps and they ran great. They're great batteries. A lot of people win races on them. My hat's off to you. If that's what you want to choose, that's fine. If you are up in the air and you want something that is a little bit cheaper and what I believe to be a little bit more reliable and a little bit more powerful, in my opinion, go on over to R1 site and check out these 8,000 milliamp. And there is also stuff, without saying anything, there's some stuff that's getting ready to come out that's just going to really, really just throw the freaking lid right off the roof of the battery industry. So, with that being said, She's like, how do you do that to us? And now this is an R1 servo in here, and R1 made servos for touring cars that were super high speed and super strong and super accurate, and they were known as some of the best on-road servos in the world. And for other reasons, wanting to get into engineering, I think I don't know the whole lowdown, so Steve would have to correct me. They halted production a while back. And I know that Steve wants to get the R1 servos back in production. So this car is an R1 car with an R1 servo, an R1 battery, an R1 capacitor pack, an R1 motor, and an R1 ESC. It is all R1. Of course, not to mention the 12-inch wheelie bars from Jake's Performance Hobbies. I told you fools, I'll run these things. I like Frank's red sauce. I put these things on in everything. So, my Dodge Challenger, 12-inch wheelie bar from Jake's. Got it on there, man. I'm telling you.
The foam for the front bumper.
So, there's a lot of guys that, when you get to a certain speed, this body probably wouldn't have done it because I have the body mount so wide and forward. But when you're using like a lot of the slash guys that have the body mounts that are back here, that's a lot of the body that's forward. And when you get to a certain speed, the front of it will tuck under.
You get nose deflection where it pushes in.
Exactly, Rich. So a lot of the guys, I want to show something on that, buddy. A lot of the guys have been seeing these, and I'd like to also promote these again too and show you a little bit about them. They look simple. They work. Just support a local shop and go get some. They work if you need some standoffs. These little black standoffs are carbon fiber. They are light. They weigh nothing, and they are super rigid. Now, some guys are keeping their bodies from deflection with those standoffs inside the body here.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, wow. Huh.
But I like to have the doppelganger special. Now, Dan, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Not only do I have no deflection because this foam was cut perfectly for the front of this body so the body doesn't move, but I also have a fail-safe. If I get hit from the side, you will rarely see me put a car into a curb or roll a car because I know I've been doing RC so long. I have such good reactions. I will get out. Rich can attest to it. I have really good reactions. I rarely crash a car. But
it does happen.
But it's kind of, I hate to say this on my show, but it's like a condom. You'd rather have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. You know what I'm saying? So there is a big foam plume on the front of my car protecting it. You know, and that's great added protection.
So where do you get it?
The foam.
What's the question?
Oh, the foam. So I actually get this foam from work. Our AEDs are things that we have throughout all the cities. They come packaged in this thick foam. You can use any foam. This is not really squishy. This is that firm foam that's kind of slippery. It's not like tire foam. It's not like really grippy and soft. It's a firmer foam, you know. And it comes in all different colors. I mean, I've seen it gray and black and a piece of gray up there. Yeah, show them that. Here's another one that I built. This one actually is for a 22S, and it's cut out and notched and stuff to go right over the front bumper in it. And it's just, see, I can pinch this really hard, and it's not compressing all the way. So that's what I'm using. And I drill my tool. I get it centered and cut my piece. And what I'll do is I'll measure when the car has the body on it, I will take a tape measure and lay it on the side and go from the center of the axle to where the body stops in the front. Then I take the body off and I go, okay, I need to come back this far. So that'll be my starting point. And then I know this dimension right here because it's written down on a piece of cardboard with lines or whatever. And I know exactly where to end. You know, there's nothing worse than cutting a foam bumper and you're a half inch too short and it still deflects. There's no point in having it on there now. So, but this car has almost zero deflection in the front end. And that's what, so right at the peak it has a little bit, but it's solid.
So
the front of that body is solid. So you can see that the foam in there, you can see the foam is touching the body. Now you don't want to, You don't want to you got to make sure that you come right up to the body and you don't go too far out. Will that make the body more stable? Absolutely. It'll be even stiffer in the front. But the problem is you notice what's happening here is when I either push this down, the front comes out. So if you're holding the front out like that, the car actually will get wider and do things through the hood and in the fenders, and you don't want to do that. You want that foam to be up to the body so the body doesn't fold in still, but you don't want it to be pushing the body out and distorting the body into a different shape, because it will affect the body in other places, and things and wheel openings and stuff that used to work won't work anymore. So when I do that, I notice that there's portions of the front wheel wells that actually come closer to the wheel. And what happens then when you have a fender that's right on a wheel, you'll go to turn and it'll do that. But then when it comes back, it'll get hung up and your steering will be cocked over and locked in one place, and that's when you hit a curve. So that's super, super, super 101 stuff to watch. Just because your body looks good and it's on there, always before you go send it down an avenue, always make sure that your steering isn't hitting the body and stuff like that, because that can be disastrous. So now, having some deflection problems with my first 22S, because I chose to use the stock body mount setup. I'm going to drop both of these. I'm going to show you my 22S. And yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that the thing's got 8 body clips. Yeah, it is. But I'll tell you what. When that thing's doing 70 miles an hour past you watching on the sideline, you can throw a freaking basketball at it and it won't move. You know? So, hand me that car. Squeaky seat. So, you'll notice that's the suspension moving. The body doesn't move on this thing. It has a little deflection there because there's no foam in the front. But this body actually, when I do a full pass on it, was actually going on the road because I didn't have these front mounts. So these front mounts are to help these front mounts in stiffening the front of the body up. And then these side mounts are to help the rear mounts from getting this quarter panel slap that some of the bodies have. I mean, this thing has no slap to it at all. I mean, I can pick the thing up by the body all day long. You know, it's very, very... Oh yeah, I forgot we ripped a hole in it when I hit that rock pile. That was the only time that I've known you since I crashed, huh? Well, we went to that race down in Antioch, and I walked up, and my transmitter was turned onto another car, and the throttle profile was the same, so I hit the gas on this thing, and it was going off a little bit right, and so I gave it just a little left, and went whoop, and went into somebody's pit. I was like, that's not good. So
first hit.
Yeah. So anyway, other than that, I'm gonna take that one. Hey baby, can you go dump this in the sink? We're almost done. I have some. Throw these back over here. In here? Yeah, but you need to get a chair. What's that? You want to go sit over there? Go.
I can go near the table.
My daughter Emma Judd.
Yeah, okay.
4-time 12.5 turn drag champion. Was doing passes at 2-1-2-5 the other night, huh?
2-2.
Huh?
No, what was it?
You did a 2-1-2-5.
What's it?
2-1-2. 2-1-2.
2 minutes.
So 2 seconds and then 12 hundredths of a second. 2.12. It was pretty good though, 68 miles an hour. I was like, damn, Gia! So, Webb's in the room, in the house. What's up, Mr. Parker? I actually, Mr. Parker, I always murder his front name, or his first name. Rikolowski, I think. I don't know, I just know him by Parker. So, I've been watching.
Call him Rico.
I've been watching your one cell solid axle cars and stuff on Prep Surface. That stuff's wild, dude. It's fun. It's pretty cool. I've been rooting for him. He did a bunch of racing in the last couple of weeks, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna run it again. So that was pretty cool. So let's we're just gonna I just had these to do, and I have had some people reach out to me with some wheel questions, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just go back over just like one of the most important things in these cars, man. If you're a new guy coming in and you're hearing that guys are doing 75 plus miles an hour, you're never gonna get there without balancing the wheels. This is such a crucial point of this sport that it's not even funny. So what I have here is some unbalanced. These are for Emma's new Losi car. These are the silver DE Street Outlaw wheels with the Street Outlaw tires and clay compound. They have not been conditioned yet. And what do you mean by conditioning? Throw me a reaction really quick. No, a real one. This is, can you see that in the camera? How dirty and dingy that is? It's all their powder, from the molding compound. You know, when I first got these, I'm like, oh, you know, they don't work, dude. And then I did a little playing with them, and this is the exact same tire. Let's see the other one. So these are extremely sticky. These are reactions. And these have been nothing but glued and
cleaned
and balanced, and then squirted continuously for a couple days with simple green inside of a bag. That's all that has happened to these. These aren't even prepped yet, and that's just ridiculous. You know, so if you are using the reactions on a mid-motor car. That's a good starting point to condition. A lot of guys use WD-40. It works pretty good too. It just gets into the rubber and softens it up. This is actually only a first stage on these tires, and they'll go into a different chemical bath. And this is obviously for prep racing. You know, we went to a race a little while ago, and it was supposed to be a true no prep race. And you know, there was guys there that were using prep, and then they would wipe it off, and it wouldn't maybe leave anything on the ground, so that was, you know, passing the rules. But it was manufactured stickiness on the tire, and I kind of feel like true no prep is done. It's kind of dead, you know. Even on a no prep race, people are going to figure out how to make their tires sticky, you know.
When you go to certain areas like Mendocino, there absolutely is no prep. And Lake County is absolutely no prep.
That's crazy, dude. So, that's a different show dealing with chemicals and stuff. But what I want to do is I want to kind of take you on a mid-step. That is probably the most important step. So these are tires that have been glued and examined, and they are pretty much brake-proof. They're, you know, unless the thing gets knifed or, you know, something like that. Emma's car isn't going to blow the beads on these wheels. So these are great tires for rear motor car. They're super grippy, and we're going to balance these. And what do you mean by balancing, Dan? Can you come in closer and then zoom in like on this side?
Sure thing, Dan.
Thank you.
Sure thing, Dan.
So I have a $25. There's a lot of different balancers out there, guys. Get the Dubro one. It's a prop balancer. It's a two-sided balancer. The ones that have the arm that stick up like this and the wheel just goes on like this, I'm not buying that. I've played with a couple different ones, and they're just nowhere near as true as this. So this rod, this precision stainless steel rod, is actually going to ride on 4 kind of round razor blades. Look at that. There's just nothing freer than that, and more accurate. So it comes with the cones and stuff, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cones together to center the wheel. Okay. What goes on next is the spring. And then you don't want the rubber stop, which is just a piece of fuel line, to get messed up by the spring. So I use a little standoff washer. And then as I push this down on there, see how it held the spring down, which is keeping tension on the cones, which is centering the wheel. Now this wheel as you can see, without being worn in or anything, it's not too bad, okay? But that's not what we're looking at. We're not looking at roundness. I know I've put these together right, okay? Let me slow it down. Now watch for a second. Can you see that really good? Maybe hand me a light. This thing's going to slow down. And you're going to see some... Oh, hold on a minute. Well, now I got to start over. Let me just give it a little roll. Now you're going to see it stop abruptly and go back to the other side.
You can see better without that light on.
Hold on. It's going to stop. No, one more time. And now it's going to go back. Now when it does that rocking chair rock back and forth, what that's telling you is that there's a heavy spot on that tire. And if you go spin that tire on the back end of your car at 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, that thing's going to make a hellacious vibration. So what we want to do is we want to be able to keep weighting it in the proper areas until we have that wheel so true that you can stop it on those razor blades and that axle shaft that's going through in any position, and it'll stop there because it's perfectly balanced. So you've seen it go back and forth, which tells me what, Rich? Where's the heavy point?
On the bottom.
It's the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my lead tape here. The two things I use is lead tape and aluminum ducting tape, and I'll show you why in a minute. And when I'm doing a bunch of tires, I'll just cut off some, say 3/16 pieces, and then some tires are really off, so I'll cut off like 3/8. And I also need my X-Acto. It's probably in the top of that RC bag. So this aluminum tape actually doesn't weigh anything, and that's why we like it. The reason why we like this, and this is going to go over the lead tape, is because the lead tape doesn't have very good sticky, but it's heavy, which is what we need. But then this, we even use this on real race cars because we don't want like your normal automotive lead weight to fly off the wheel on a racetrack at 140 miles. So once it's perfectly balanced, we cover the weights in this because the stickiness on it is absolutely second to none. So the reason why I wanted an X-Acto, okay, if I get this thing and I put a little bit on and it wobbles back and forth and it leaves my lead at the top again, I haven't gone far enough. I add a little bit more. Now let's say all of a sudden the lead is at the bottom and it's still rocking chair. That means I've just created the heaviest point with the lead. So what I'll do is go back in, and without taking the lead off, I will take little tiny chunks of the lead off with my razor blade a little bit at a time until I get, it's basically reverse. So you want to get it up to the points where you've balanced it with weight on a countering side than the weight that's making it imbalanced. But you want to also not go too far. And if you go too far, this little X-Acto knife is how I'm going to take little corner chunk by little corner chunk out of the lead until I know that it's going to stop anywhere I want to because it's balanced. So I'm going to start off. I've done so many wheels I can usually guesstimate and get it close. I'm going to put my finger on the very top because that's where the weight's going. I'm going to grab the tire. I'm going to put a little piece of lead on it. I'm going to put it back on, and I'm going to give it a little tiny spin. You can just give it a little slow spin. You don't have to spin it fast and wait for it, especially when you got 20 tires to do. What's it going to do? It's rolling back. So I've gotten it really close now. That's actually a pretty hard roll. We're going to add another little small one to it because I got a sneaky suspicion that when it's done rolling back and forth, that weighted area is going to be right up at the top because we haven't put enough weight on it to surpass what the imbalance is. Yep. See my finger on the top? See the weight in there? So I'm going to add another piece to it. I can overlap it and just kind of put it on there. Now we're going to do it again. Coming to a stop. You want to make sure you don't shake the table. You got a pretty darn level table you're doing it on. Well, now it's coming back. Maybe I still haven't got enough on there. So I'm going to take a small piece. I'm going to cut it in half because I think it's close. It's rolling. It's still doing a rollback, so we haven't weighted it enough yet. But it's rolling back slow enough that I know we're getting close. So I'm going to grab that again. Oh, there's my weight again. So we know we haven't gone enough. And I'm just going to put a little Scooby snack right on the top of that thing. Now let's check it again. And this is a very time-consuming, but you're never, if you're like, I don't need to balance the RC car tires, and you don't balance your tires, you will never beat somebody doing 75 miles an hour. So right now, my weight is right here. Okay, it wants a little more. That's okay. I want to make it perfect. The better job I do at this, the better performing car I'm going to have. And you'll see at the race, if you ever watch me at the line and I give my car a little brat before I put it down, pay attention to my wheels. They're freaking balanced. So, yeah, there's my weight again. So I'm just going to put the tiniest little baby piece on this. If I can even get it off my finger. Okay, so the weight is over here now. I'm going to stop it. Look at that. It stops there. I'm going to put it back to here. It stops there. What I'm doing is I'm spinning it like a third of a turn each time and putting the weight in different locations. That tire is perfectly balanced right now. I can stop it there. Now, here's what I want to do with the aluminum tape, okay? I don't trust that 5, 6, 7,000 RPM that little bit of weight in there is going to stay on. I don't. Because once you start stacking weight up on each other, it just they like to fall off. So what I'm going to do, and I'll tell you what, let's say you got a good running car and you go through the first 2 or 3 rounds. Then you lose a wheel weight and you cannot figure why your car isn't freaking working as good as it was. I'll tell you what, if it's a wheel weight, you're going to feel pretty stupid. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead. And we're going to take a piece of this aluminum tape and we're going to cut a piece that's just a little bit bigger than the footprint of the lead tape that I just put on there. So see the stacks of lead tape in there? I'm going to take that little piece of aluminum and I'm going to work it down with my fingernails. I'm going to get it really, that is not coming off of that rim now. It is locked into this rim. Let me put it this way. If I wanted to get this off after a hot race day, see how it's like entombed in the aluminum now? The sticky on that aluminum tape will keep it on that wheel no matter what. So no matter how the tire wears down or what happens, unless it has a physical defect in the rim or the tire from hitting something or something like that, this will never be unbalanced. It will always have the same balance. So that's why we use the aluminum tape. It's great stuff. I know that Rich uses it. A lot of other people use it. It's something that I found in my garage 3 years ago. And I'm like, you know what? That's the same stuff we work on the race cars. And I feel really stupid if my weight fell off. Because here's the problem, is if you don't do this and guarantee the fact that your weight won't fall off, eventually it's Russian roulette. You will have a wheel weight and you won't find it. You won't. So let's see how bad this thing is. DE tires are pretty good. They usually don't take much weight. Pro lines are really good, you know. I've had tires before where I had so much weight on it, I'm like, geez. And usually that's because, like, when you glue, there's too much glue on one side. The glue's heavy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it all starts from your gluing job, too.
So
you get too much glue in one area and not enough on the other. That'll cause a lot of imbalance.
And don't just throw the tires together, guys. You know, put them together and really inspect them. If you notice how just freaking low profile and perfect that glue bead is and how good the tire sits on the rim and stuff, I mean, that is, you know, essential for you know, having the wheel work as precisionally as possible. So let's go see where she's at.
Now let's say, what if you don't have a bunch of stack and you just get one piece of lead tape on there?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Freaking cover it with aluminum tape. Now I think with that piece of lead, I might have just created I'm going to start over. I'm not buying that. I think maybe I was paying too much attention to talking.
Tends to do that.
Hey, you know what? Let's let her
Well, it would be awfully boring if you didn't say anything during this whole.
Yeah, it would.
You leave it to me to talk, that ain't gonna happen.
Come on, stop rocking. These are the crucial moments that you don't touch the table. It's on balance, on a level table. And you let it stop right where it needs to go. Now, as you get better in this, I know that, boom, that's half my rock. So, you just got to give it a little shove. Oh, I think my lead's going to come right back to the top. It stopped there. The weights are right here. Now I'm going to move it. Watch. There. They stop. I'm going to move it there. Tire stops. That tire's balanced. Huh?
It's still moving.
Might have bumped this too. So, but I'm going to call that good. That's pretty darn balanced. So, then once a tire has been glued and inspected and balanced and capture balanced with the aluminum weight, now you're ready to condition. Condition means putting some kind of chemical on the tire. Some people do it for a little bit of time, some people do it for a long time, and really trying to soften that rubber up. But for the most part, this tire, on a true no prep surface, this tire right here could just get put on a car and do a big fat burnout and run it. But this tire is ready. I know it's balanced. I know it's glued well. It's been inspected. I don't have any funny bubbles in the rubber or anything where the foam got bunched up. When you're putting wheels together, dude, do not be afraid to go, it doesn't look right, and pop it all apart and start over. Sometimes I'll put 17 wheels together perfectly, and then it'll take me another 23 minutes to get one wheel right, because there's just something about it. It just doesn't want to go together right. Mm-hmm. So these wheels have been balanced. They have been captured with the aluminum tape. This is a brand new set that's ready to rock for Emma. So is there any other questions about that and that process? Anything anybody missed?
No, you got the tape from your mom.
Who, me?
That's what it says.
Yeah, I found this. My mom brought this over to do a little ducting work, and she had a bunch of rolls and left it at my house, and I have a huge roll of it, and we use it for a lot of stuff now. It's almost like a thick tin foil. It's nowhere near as thick as an aluminum can. It's like tin foil, but it's sticky on one side, and the stickum is just crazy strong. And that's why we use it on these wheels. So, because you can when you put the lead on the wheel, even if you clean it with alcohol, whatever, it's a clean surface, you can put this little razor blade behind the like just smallest little corner of the lead and go pop, and it comes off. And the first time I saw it, I was like, no, not today, Satan, That's not happening. Yeah, see, that's got a pretty big.
All right, I'm gonna go race some rowdy round.
You're gonna go race some rowdy round.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess Rich is gonna go over to Brian's house, home of the Dirty Dega, and run some dirt oval.
Go give it a shot.
Well, that just worked out. See how fast that one went? Yeah, we can call it. So, hey guys, next week after, we'll be back. I want to start writing down some ideas. If you guys have a tech that you haven't seen in a while, or you think that technology is advanced and you want me to go back over it, then please by all means reach out to me. And if it's something I can do without buying hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, then by all means we will try and give you that technology. Big shout out to Paul Peterson at Shark RC Bodies. You're a badass. Huge shout out to Steve Villanueva of R1 Works, and you're a badass. DE at Dave Enstrom and Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies, available Tuesday through Saturday, 707-586-3375. Ships to the local 48. Both of you gentlemen are badasses. I hope everybody has a badass rest of your 9/11. God bless America. And have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace out.
Peace out.